2019 is going to be remembered as a pivotal year in community media. And the FCC passed new rules that would allow cable companies to charge for previously in-kind services. We've already seen deductions in our franchise fees even before these FCC rules have hit us, and that's due to cord cutting and also some changes in some accounting practices. These FCC rules are basically going to force communities to choose whether or not they're going to get funding for public access or they're going to get the services that were previously in kind.
This rulemaking is saying anything that has been normally considered an in-kind donation, be it the TV channels themselves, be it fiber, iNet, they're going to put market value to all of those things and deduct it from what you get from that franchise fee amount. And that could drastically cut people's budget in half, entirely. Maybe some places might even have to owe money back.
The studio I was recording at in Lynn, I've been recording there for years, and somebody broke in and robbed it. Everything gone. Mixtape gone. Yeah, we know. Everything was gone, right? And I reached out to a friend, have him basically chained inside of his basement, doing studio sessions.
Well, you did that other record. There was another record.
Horrible,
let's just say it was a horrible record. And it was like really rappy and boom bappy, and there's nothing wrong with that, but like I heard him sing one day and I was like, dude, you sing? And he's like, yeah, I like singing. I'm like, why aren't you singing on your tracks?
I'll always tell it like it is, that's the bottom line. If you just living to exist, you on borrowed time. Don't ever let them take your soul, no, no, no. Don't ever let them take your soul, no, no, no. I'll always tell it like it is, that's the bottom line. If you just living to exist.
I own a wedding planning company called Without a Hitch. I had been doing that for several years when I noticed a serious gap in the marketplace. My clients were looking for flexible space where they could make it look like them. And I convinced my mom that she wanted to start something with me. And this was early 2016. And my poor realtor had the challenging task of just finding an interesting space. When this property came on the market, it certainly wasn't much to look at. It was a challenging space, to say the least, but the history was there. When this building was built, it was used as a theater. From 1912 when it opened all the way through 1957, they were doing live shows here as well as movies in this space. And in reading through that documentation, it referred to oleo curtains. It really stuck out to us as a way to remember what this space was used as.
Ellos cantan en llanos, allá se encuentran sus cantos. Son de la loma y cantan en llanos. Son de la loma y cantan en llanos.
But we have the Brazilian barbecue. That's what we do back home in Brazil. That's what we bring our cuisine to America.
Right. So it's like reminds you of home. A little bit. I assume you were brought up in Brazil. It's like growing up in the kitchen. Like
the kitchen. My mom cooking and then the roast, and that is very nice. Very nice. That's Brazil barbecue is the #1.
It was so good.
Oh yeah.
It was so good.
I feel like I just took a trip to Brazil.
Oh, that's right. I mean, you didn't spend no money to go.
So we're here with Anna, did a thing. That's how I know her, by her Instagram handle. And you're doing you're working on something right now, a mural right now. Yeah.
Yes. It is a live mural done on what we call in the Filipino community balik bayan boxes.
Oh, okay.
So basically, in Filipino culture, a lot of times you have someone that's called a overseas Filipino worker, and they work and they send home money and they send home goods to help raise the family and help keep the family going.
Yeah.
And balik bayan boxes in particular, you fill them to the brim with toiletries, with non-perishables, chocolates, things like that for the kids, because tickets to Asia can be very expensive. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that's the only part of you that gets to go home, so it's like a little piece of you that gets to go home in a care package.
This is so cool. Thanks for bringing this to the International Festival.
Thank
It's
you.
the perfect place for it to be.
It's the perfect setting for it.
Yeah,
definitely.
exactly.
So do you make everything fresh every day?
Every single day. We do raviolis, we do fusilli, and fettuccine homemade. Everything else we use pasta di cecco. So it's important for me that product is fresh and quality, its consistency, and making my customers are very happy with my food.
So we're excited. We're Peabody residents, and we're pumped that like your restaurant is participating in Restaurant Week, and it looks like this is the deal that you have going on. So it's try another one. So what's this one?
This is a chicken palm, which is breaded.
Okay.
We make a homemade breadcrumbs here.
That's so good.
And then we put it in the oven with mozzarella cheese.
The texture is really good on this too, and it's still moist on the inside. It's not dry at all.
Yeah.
And so
and
what
this
do we
is
have
a
here on
homemade
this side?
fusilli, which we made those this morning. We made 50 pounds of those every single morning.
Is it just a basic pasta, just some eggs, flour, and water?
That's it. Nothing artificial. Everything is the basic. Yeah. It only lasts me for the day.
You guys have been doing this for a while, so you know how much you need to make every day.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah.
All right, we gotta go on to.
I know. I can't
try my haddock because everybody loves my haddock.
All right.
And the mashed potatoes, I do just like you do at the house: milk, butter, and you whip it.
It's really moist. There's so much flavor. It's not overpowering at all.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Wow.
Keeping it simple. That's like kind of the theme of the restaurant.
It
right?
is. It is.
Nothing
Simple is the
fancy,
best.
just-
My husband Bill was diagnosed about 10 years ago, 11 actually, because he's been gone a year. It's been a huge journey for all of us, not just me, just for my family. It just takes and takes and takes.
Hi, Mom.
Hi, honey. I'm good. How are you?
It started probably earlier than we think, so it was very difficult to understand. He was a very smart man my entire life, and then it just started to decline. I actually peeked in that drawer before we started in his desk. There was a lot of research in there about Alzheimer's and looking up what's going on with me, you know. So he knew. He never let us know he knew, but he knew.
I'm in recovery. I almost have 3 years in December. I lost everything. I lost my apartment, my children, and I became to where I was low in life. I was beneath. That's not where I was supposed to be in life. So I had to check myself and get myself help. I checked myself in a detox. After that, I was in a shelter where I was reunited with my daughters, and they gave us the option of different places to go, and they offered me to come here. And so I took that step because I had to move forward, and I came. I love it here. I love it.
In Transition Family Sober Living program provides transitional shelter to families who are trying to find permanent housing. So people who have 6 months to a year worth of recovery apply, and they're put on a wait list. Then they're accepted and they come in, and they have up to 2 years to stay here, continue to build their skill sets and their resources, and work towards being able to find more permanent housing.
Welcome to Curious City. The mayor about 6 years ago spoke about the potential of bringing a children's museum to the city. This is a great opportunity for us to test that.
Having it here in the George Peabody House was kind of symbolic in a lot of ways, because George Peabody cared so much about education, investing in youth, and I think that's what we're doing today. We're taking a step towards investing significantly in the Children's Museum that will inspire, motivate, hopefully educate many, many students and young boys and girls coming through our doors here. Our historical community, which a few of them at first were a little nervous about making some changes here, but I think everybody's going to be very proud of what we're doing here.
We've been successful in doing pop-ups throughout the city for the last several years. So that came to our mind as let's do a pop-up children's museum and kind of test the water and see if that works. And some of the numbers we wanted to track the numbers through the ticketing system. We wanted to track that if someone came in and paid cash, you know, where were they coming from and so forth. And some of the numbers that we have, and I'll look down on my cheat sheet, we had more than 6,700 people visit the museum in this 90-day period, and I say 90 days because we weren't open every day. We were open 4 days a week. We had 40% of the folks there used what was the library pass, so we spread the word through the different libraries in the North Shore that they could use that and come and visit us. So that was a good group of people.
We'll have some practical app stations where they'll be able to use the go-karts that you've seen here today. They'll dry run it, which means they'll do it normally without any goggles on, and then we'll put a set of goggles on them and we'll see how they do. 10 out of 10 times, something's going to happen. They're either going to hit a cone, or they're not going to be able to stack the cup correctly, or they're going to step over the line, and it's going to show that they're impaired. And And that's the goal behind the whole thing.
Just a wonderful time to celebrate so much about our city.
When you came out today, what was the thing that made you the most happy?
I just like looking around and seeing families together. You know, little kids with their parents, with their grandparents, enjoying food, playing the games, and that always makes me feel good. And that's why we do this. All the city of Peabody, the people who volunteered to work on this event, that's what we always look forward to. And we had a great bike ride this morning. We just had the costume parade with the kids in their wagons and bikes, and I just feel real good about things.
Mike Tansey at the plate, Tanner left fielder. Bunt. Gets it down, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Tanners win it 2-1 in 7. Robert using the body to steal the puck away. It's tied up in the corner. DiGiulio comes out with it. DiGiulio in front. Cat DiGiulio scores! Peabody is in the lead 1-0 with a minute to go in the first. For the first time in team history, the Peabody Tanners will advance to the second round of the state tournament as they pour onto the ice to Mob Abbey Buckley. What was thought to be the impossible 4 years ago has occurred tonight, February 27, 2019.
Left alone.
Oh, wow.
Nice, but they left alone. Good job.
Boom with the basket.
That's probably their longest play so far in the game. I don't know why they haven't gone back to plays like that. They really seem to be sticking to the trend that we've seen the past few games, and actually the past couple seasons. They like to power run the ball, especially with Angel Polino, Kyle Maglione as well. He had a pretty good run earlier in the game as well.
It's going to be a short kick by the up-back. Going to kick it back to Coffey, the number 1. He takes it, there it goes. Fred Coffey. Touchdown, Tanners, no flags.
Oh, what a play.
It's going to be a pass. Danisco, he's shooting for number 2, Therian. That's a touchdown.
Oh, what a touchdown.
Colby Therian from Alex Danisco puts the Tanners up.
Almonte steps up to take it. Tucked into the bottom corner. Peabody goes up 1-0.
Kicked in front of the net, and it's a Tanner goal. Make that number 43, Kyle Joyce.
So this is me. My name is Audrey Gabriel, and I was a senior at Peabody High at the time. My mornings for the band trip start out like any other morning. I have to print off a paper because I still have to go to class that morning. I just grab my stuff because it's a long bus ride, so I make sure that I'm all packed up before I get to head out. And here's my dad for the 4th and final year loading up my suitcase. Got to say bye to Mom. And after that, we're off. Our first stop of the day is the band room, where all of us gather up before we get in the buses and leave for New Jersey. And so I'm going to introduce you to a few faces that you'll see throughout the trip. This is Mr. Jones. He's our band director for each of the ensembles, and he's probably the coolest teacher I have. And my best friend Zach, who also works at PAT. And on his left now is my friend Neil and Stephanie. Neil also works here. And here are my 2 clarinet best friends, Tiana and Joey, who I've been with for 3 years now. And that's Jason and Evan, who have really interesting shoes. They did that all weekend, I think.
I think in 50 years, this is a hard question. A lot of changes are gonna happen to the planet. I think there's gonna be a bunch of robots everywhere.
There will be robots and flying cars. Maybe robots might have taken over the world. Robots will attack the city. Robots will overrule us, and there will be no humans on Earth. And we will have landed people on Mars. They'll probably have like holograms, flying cars, maybe. It would be filled with like robots and stuff. Like robots taking over the world.
Okay, good evening. I'd like to call the school committee meeting to order, today being a budget review session. We are starting at 5:43. I wanted to thank all of our principals that are here today and Tom Rosignol, who is here from the City Council. And I know he misses us at the school committee.
Kara loved to learn.
After graduating Bishop Fenwick High School with honors in 1993, she excelled at Emmanuel College and graduated in 1997 cum laude with a degree in education, and had already set her sights on following in her father Jack's footsteps as an educator. She continued her love of learning by receiving a master's degree from Emmanuel, her superintendent certificate, and currently was enrolled in a doctorate program.
Hi, I'm Kara Mertag, Assistant Superintendent of Schools. And I've been in the school system 21 years, starting as a teacher, vice principal, assistant superintendent, and next year superintendent of schools. I love what I do. I love working with the teachers and especially with all of you. You all can make a difference, and you do each and every day.
Their motto of remember, the kids always come first. This was what her father ingrained in her, and boy did it pay off.
Most towns and cities across America work better when a solid court system is in place, and Peabody's no exception.
The ability to seek justice is fundamental to a community, and it starts at the district court level.
Peabody's always been sort of a rough and tumble sort of city. Route 1 was kind of the Wild West for a little while.
There were a lot of strip clubs, massage parlors, things of that nature, attracted a certain element, and a lot of them wound up in Peabody District Court on Monday morning.
Justice and truth all started here.
I'm really proud of the Peabody District Court, proud of the access to justice that we've had.
Here we are right in the middle of Peabody Square, right across from City Hall. It's a great location, and a lot of great things have happened here over the years.
The district court is the court that most people within a city use.
You know, there's about 10,000 cases, 10,000 people who have to use this court in this general location. Well, that pretty much hits almost every family.
There needs to be more discussion on that. It was purchased with the taxpayers' dollars, and there needs to be more discussion with that. And you can backpedal all you want that's not what you said. That is what you said.
We'll say it again, full speed ahead on making the Children's Museum a reality. 2 Washington Street, we decided as a group and voted that that is the location we want to move forward on. Ultimately, it has to come to you. If you decide that 2 Washington Street is not the location you want, then you can vote no on it at that time. But we haven't even brought that forward.
Mr. Chairman, I did have the floor, but I'll let the mayor have the last word. Thank you.
Everybody on all different sides of the issue said the system is broken and we need fundamental reform. We need to have a pathway to citizenship, not just for Dreamers, but for everybody who is a part of our community.
To me, the biggest issue facing Peabody is the balance of the infrastructure upgrades that we have to do and the affordability and keeping Peabody affordable to our residents, our businesses. And you just saw this in the council in the last year and a half. So this is an issue facing the council, and it's something we're advocating for and dealing with weekly.
The office of mayor is a 2-year term with a salary of $120,000 plus health insurance.
You have a community population, 53,000 plus people, 1,400 employees, 14, I think, unions. You oversee police, fire, schools, DPW, health departments, park departments. Your big responsibility is providing a budget and making sure it works. But on top of that, 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a fire, you go to it. 11 o'clock at night, somebody has a complaint, you pick up the phone. It never stops.
The demand on your time is just unbelievable. He appoints all the boards, he does all the budgets, he participates in the negotiations, he's chairman of the school committee. He's the executive, and he sets the direction that the city's going in.